Good morning. So the road is looking good out there. It has curbs to it now. It doesn't have road on it yet, but they've got to finish up the catch basins for the storm drains and then put down gravel. And yeah, we probably won't have a road by Christmas, sorry. If we're lucky, we'll have compacted gravel, though, that we can drive on. They said that that's perfectly fine, so we'll see what happens. But a lot of anticipation. I've been thinking, just kind of the whole process of doing this, starting a year and a half ago, doing the feasibility study, then doing the capital campaign, and then finding the contractor, and then all the work that went into it that they don't tell you about with the engineer and all the stuff, and just a lot of waiting. And then they finally come out and they deliver the equipment, and then, we can't find the people to cut down the trees, so it delays a couple weeks. And then it's it's going to rain, it's going to be cold. Yeah, we can't spread asphalt when it's too cold, of course. Just all sorts of little things. And it's yeah, but I want it. You want it too, right? Tired of making that U-turn. Just come on. I even asked, I was can I just drive on it now? It's dirt and it's level. So can I? And they're like, no, because you're going to break the asphalt at the road and at the parking lot. You're going to tear it up and you're going to get mud all over the place. Just wait till there's gravel and then you can use it. But I want to use it now. And it's kind of that Christmas thing where we're yeah, but I want to do Christmas now. I don't want to wait till the 25th. I want it to be Christmas because it's been Christmas since after Halloween. Which I always fear that with that, by the time we actually get to Christmas, we're all Christmased out because we've been Christmasing all through Advent instead of Adventing during Advent. And so Christmas arrives and it's I'm kind of tired of Christmas, so let's just go back to regular stuff in the world. But of course, Christmas season just begins on Christmas Day. And so we have this time of preparation. We have this time where we spend 4 weeks in prayer, 4 weeks during this time of penance, to get ready for the celebration of Christmas, to get ready for the second coming of Christ. And so the church gives us this day, Gaudete Sunday, which is a day to rejoice. And there are many reasons to rejoice. Except we look outside and we look at the world around us and we say, are there really reasons to rejoice? We look to suffering, we look to war, we look to hunger and poverty, we look to sickness, we look to just all sorts of nastiness and wickedness that exists in the world. And we say, how can we have joy? How can we have joy when there's so much brokenness in the world? How can we have joy when there's so much wickedness, when there's so much sin? How can we be joyful? Especially in a time of waiting. Joy and waiting don't really go together, do they? Right? Usually sitting in the waiting room at the doctor's office is not a joyful experience. But when we know what it is that we are waiting for, then we ought to express joy. We ought to recognize that we, even amidst all of the brokenness, that there are reasons for joy. This first reading from Isaiah has got all sorts of examples, saying the desert and the parched land will exult, the steppe will rejoice and bloom, there'll be flowers growing in places where flowers don't grow. And he says that the Lord to those whom the Lord has ransomed will return. Because all of us are enslaved to sin. All of us are enslaved to that broken world. All of us are enslaved and held captive. And the Lord ransoms us. He sets us free. He rescues us. He comes to save us. Christ takes on our flesh at Christmas so that he can save us. He takes on our flesh at Christmas so that he can suffer and die. He becomes like us in all things except sin so that he can conquer sin. These several people that we welcome to the church this morning are going to receive baptism in a few months at Easter, being set free from their original sin, having their actual sins forgiven them. Being baptized as an adult is great because you get a freebie. Everything's wiped clean. And then you go to confession, only what happened since baptism. The rest of us, though, we gotta go all the way back to the beginning. But Christ frees us. He ransoms us. He rescues us. He saves us. What a beautiful thing. And so because we have that knowledge of what is to come, we can look forward and we can look around us and we can say, even with the suffering, even with the pain, even with the brokenness in the world, I still have reason to rejoice. Gaudete, that's an imperative form, right, of the word. To be joyful. You rejoice. Everybody be happy. right? The mother church is telling us all, we're all going to have fun, okay? Everybody be happy. And we listen and, okay, you're commanding me to be happy. You just can't command me to be happy. But the church says, no, you must be happy. You must rejoice. You must recognize the good news that is coming to be. But be patient. Wait. Wait until it's just the right time. Because we don't know the time or the hour when Christ will come. And so we wait with patience. St. James tells us in the second reading to be patient until the coming of the Lord. And he says, do not complain, brothers and sisters, about one another, that you may not be judged. Behold, the judge is standing before the gates. Taken as an example of hardship and patience. An example of hardship and patience. To be patient, to not complain. I like complaining, though. I'm pretty good at it. But St. James says, yeah, but don't do it. Don't complain. Don't worry about others around you. Don't worry about others' sinfulness. Don't worry about what others are doing. Yes, certainly call others to holiness. It's kind of in a different context. But don't complain. Don't say, my life is so hard. Don't say, oh, woe is me. Don't say, oh, this suffering is too much. But rather rejoice in the cross. Look to that suffering. Embrace that suffering. Lean into that suffering. Unite that suffering to that of Christ. Christ suffered for us. Christ suffers with us. Christ leads us to holiness. We just have to be patient. We just have to know how to wait. We have to know how to sit in the silence. And when we do know that, then it is so much easier for us to rejoice. It is so much easier for us to be joyous. It is so much easier for us to remember the good things that are to come, the good things that God has given us. And we recognize in the gospel, right, John the Baptist is saying, is this really Jesus? Is this really the Messiah? Because the Messiah is the one who's going to come and kick out the Romans, and the Messiah is the one that's going to come and reestablish the Davidic kingdom, and the Messiah is the one that's going to come and make everything better. Is this really the Messiah? And he sends his disciples, and they go and they ask him, and Jesus says, go and tell John what you hear and see. The blind regain their sight, the lame walk, lepers are cleansed, the deaf hear, the dead are raised, the poor have the good news proclaimed to them. Jesus is saying, look to the signs, look what's happening. Look what's happening around you. This is the sign of the Messiah. And no, I'm not here to restore the Davidic kingdom here on earth, but in heaven. I'm here to establish my kingdom in heaven that has no end. I want you to be part of my kingdom in heaven. But in order for us to do so, we have to allow him to heal us. We have to allow him to help us to understand those areas in which we are spiritually blind, in which we are spiritually lepers, in which we are spiritually dead, in which we are spiritually suffering, in which we are spiritually deaf, in which we are spiritually poor. And we have to allow that good news to penetrate our hearts, that good news to speak to us truly, that it can transform us. Adult converts are my favorite because nobody's forcing them to be here. Nobody dragged him in as a baby and just held him and poured the water. They're of their own free will saying, I want this. Catholicism is kind of cool these days. Everybody's becoming Catholic. It's like, oh yeah, duh. The religion that's existed since Jesus obviously is the right one, so let's do that. But it's becoming popular. It's becoming a little bit more mainstream, especially among young people, to embrace Catholicism. And not just to embrace Catholicism as like, all right, I'll come to Mass on Sunday, fulfill my obligation, and be done. But to really, truly embrace it and to say, I want to live my life as a disciple of Christ. I want to seek holiness each and every day. I don't want what the world is trying to give me. For many of you, you've probably tried to take what the world is trying to give you, and you've recognized that it leaves you empty, that it doesn't fulfill you, that it's filled with lies. And so we look to Christ, and he ransoms us, he rescues us, he sets us free. He gives us what only he can offer, salvation. That's why we're all here. Salvation. that we may continue to do the will of God in our lives, that we may continue to conform ourselves more and more to Him each and every day, that we may strive for holiness, that we may reject sin, we may put it behind us. We reject Satan, we reject his evil ways, we reject all his temptation and allurement, and we embrace Christ, we embrace His cross, we wait patiently, we unite our suffering to His. And because of all of that, we have reason to rejoice. And so the church tells us, rejoice in the Lord always. Again, I say rejoice. Indeed, the Lord is near. And so let us continue to pray throughout this Advent season, through the remaining week and a half-ish that we have until Christmas, that indeed we may have the grace to be patient, that we may wait, that we may be prepared for the coming of the Lord, and that when He comes, He may find us ready and full of faith.